everyone, welcome inside the State Champs studio. I'm Sydney Cariel, and we are excited to have episode 2 of Above the Net brought to you by Raymond James. I am joined now by Vince Muscat, our volleyball analyst. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We had a fun week last week, and we got a lot more to talk about this week.
Oh yeah, as the season continues, the competition is just going to rise here, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And we did have some big games this week. Tuesday night, actually, we had Novi on the road at Lake Orion. Novi getting the win in 4 sets.
Yeah, they set up a non-conference matchup, and it's two probably close to top 10 teams. They're going to be right around there all season long. Novi ended up going Lake Orion and winning in 4. Sarah Vellucci is a standout. She's on the Miss Volleyball list, and she's just an amazing athlete, amazing outside hitter for Novi that plays libero in club and going to Long Beach State as a libero. So it's exciting to watch her kind of be versatile for her high school team and do what they need.
Right, and after the game, she talked about the win and how excited she was for this year and some of her goals for the rest of the season.
We're feeling good right now. We want to make it as far as we can. Honestly, we would love to make it back to Battle Creek this year, especially for me, my senior year. It would be awesome to be back there.
Our goal is always to get back to Battle Creek and go as far as we go, but we know that that takes one at a time, not overlooking any future matchups, and then at the end, just really turning it on.
Well, Vince, that was a good game there, and then our second game we had was Macomb, Dakota beat Utica Eisenhower in 3 sets, but I feel like the scores were a little deceiving. It was close, especially in that second set, and went 30-28.
Yeah, second set went into overtime. I think these teams that are coming off Labor Day weekend, several kids travel and they're coming back without maybe a practice. I think you're going to catch these teams maybe a little bit flat, and I think that's what Olivia talked about in her interview. She is a dynamic middle who plays some left side for Macomb, Dakota. She's going to be instrumental, and we talked about setter Erin Madigan last week on the show. She just committed to Arkansas State, so Dakota is primed and ready to make a deep run. I know Coach Neil Rosinski has a clock in their gym, and it shows how many days are left, and the days that are left are up until the finals. So they got some high expectations over there at Macomb, Dakota.
Wow, that's awesome that they have the clock. Such a great idea, and really keeps the momentum going, which is something that both Olivia and the head coach talked about after the game.
We're excited about this year. You know, the best thing about before we even kicked off the season, we had a lot of conversations. Girls reached out. You know, there's a lot of understanding where we can take this year. You know, so everyone's really in, taking in, putting in the classroom, putting it on the floor and stuff, and just making sure that, you know, every day we want to end on that last final. We got to understand it's, you know, it's nothing's guaranteed. It's, you know, as much respect we're getting, and we appreciate the respect. We still got to get the job done, and we're going to just keep that message going through this whole season.
I've been on varsity for 3 years, and I think that for me, like, this team is the closest we've ever been. Like, we just meshed from the beginning.
Vince, we're going to keep it rolling here. We had some 2 good games, and this time we're going to head to the west side of the state. Grand Rapids Christian beat Forest Hills Eastern in 3 sets. What do you think of those 2 teams?
I think they're both young. Grand Rapids Christian has been a powerhouse in Division II, I think, for the better part of probably 6 years now. They had 3 state championships in that. They have kids playing at the next level all over the country. Just a great program that has really solidified itself in the last 6 years. They lost Evie Dozema, who's at Michigan State, and I think they've got a young, hungry group of young athletes that are looking to keep that tradition going.
Yeah, and getting the win on the road will only help that morale, and Rowan Sabelski talks about that after the game.
Really good. I think we stayed up the whole time, and we're just all so happy to play with each other. We have a lot of underclassmen who are really good, a lot of sophomores who are playing all the time and are powerhouses, so that's super fun that it's not all just senior leadership.
They go out ready to play every game with the attitude that they're going to finish, and I think that's just been a part of the program for years, and they have kept that mindset, yeah.
Vince, I know it's still early in the season, but we do have some rankings, and we showed you guys our top 10 rankings from last week. And this week, Vince, not much change here.
No, as I said earlier in the show, it's Labor Day weekend. A lot of schools aren't playing. There was maybe a tournament on Friday before Labor Day at Bedford that you saw Skyline win. But in terms of the top 10 teams, I think they all stayed the same, but I expect some shakeup over the next couple weeks. This weekend, there's a couple of big tournaments going on. You've got the program invite that's at UWM Sports Complex. That's kind of a unique tournament. It's not just the varsity teams. It's the freshmen, they play in their own freshman division. JV, they play in their own JV division, and then varsity. So there's 12 programs that come in, and the freshmen mean something. The JV means something, and they love it. The programs that are involved enjoy the tournament, the concept of the tournament. And just because you win the varsity doesn't mean you win the tournament. It's the top program, and it's allocated by points and how they finish. Some big programs in that. Marion's in it. You've got Macomb, Dakota, who's also there. You've got Clarkston. Both those teams are 6 and 7 in our rankings. And then you've got programs like Romeo, Brighton, Utica Eisenhower. So it's a very competitive tournament, and I'm excited. I'll be there live to watch it. And on the west side, we have East Kentwood. They're hosting their annual tournament. You've got Grand Rapids Christian, who we just saw earlier in the show. Grand Rapids Catholic Central, who I think is going to be a sleeper in Division II. So again, another competitive tournament, in Rockford as well is there in that tournament.
Yeah, and speaking of sleeper teams, are there any in this top 10 that you think are going to make a jump sooner than later that may surprise some of us?
It's a good question. I think North Branch continues to get better. They're number 1 in Division II. Skyline, Harper, we're going to talk about her a little bit later in the show. She's just a game changer. You've got SMCC, who's a Division III school, favorite in Division III. So I think those D2 and D3 teams that are top-notch can beat anybody in Division I. So you could see some of those teams climb up if they get an upset or two.
And be sure to check out our website, statechampsw.com, to see the full list of our top 10 rankings. We're going to take a short break and check out our latest installment of Game Changers, brought to you by the Detroit Medical Center, Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine.
Hi, I'm Laura Ramus with DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine with today's Game Changers Pop Quiz. True or false, your warm-up should be the same no matter what sports you play. The answer is false. The goal of the warm-up is the same. It's to prepare that body for your sport by increasing your heart rate, increasing your breathing, your blood flow, increasing your body temperature. But it differs from sport to sport. Your warm-up exercises should be specific and mimic the movements of your specific sport.
Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Then go where the pros go. DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. For immediate care, call 313-910-9328 or visit dmc.org/gamechangers.
Well, now I think it's time for what's going to be our favorite part of the show, the Volleyball Player of the Year, presented by Michigan Elite Volleyball Academy. This is such a great award for the players all throughout the season, and to see all these athletes really shine.
Absolutely. I think the big key for this award is that we're not just going to highlight the career of a player, we're actually highlighting the season of the player.
So to vote, you're going to go to statechampsw.com, and that is where you'll vote for your Volleyball Player of the Year. Now, it's important to vote for who you think deserves this award, because the leading vote getter never gets removed from the top 10. Very important there. And then at the end of the year, the leading vote getter automatically gets a spot in the Final Four. So how the breakdown works is it's 30% performance through the season, 20% online voting, that's where you guys come in, it's very important, 20% level of competition, 15% big game performance, 10% team success, and then 5% highly recruited athlete. So that is how the entire breakdown goes. But remember, go to statechampsw.com, and that's where you'll find the poll to vote for who you think should be Volleyball Player of the Year. And Vince, with all of that criteria and everything, the voting will start this weekend. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how it all gets going. And right now on your screen, you can see our first top 10 here. There is no particular order. We just have it in alphabetical order, honestly. So there's no real order to any of this. But what do you think of our first top 10 to start off the season?
These are big impact players that the committee's put together. And again, it can change throughout the season as athletes step up and have big game performances. But for right now, this is what the committee put in.
So throughout every Above the Net show, we're going to spotlight one of our players who is on the Volleyball Player of the Year list. So this week we're going to spotlight Harper Murray. We talked about her a little bit, but what makes her so special out there?
She's a once-in-a-generation player. She's got the ability to have a shot at the Olympics. She has every tool in the game you can think of. I think when Harper Murray's said and done, when she's done with her college career and probably playing professionally if she wants to, I believe that she'll lump in with some of the athletes that came through, like the Angie McGinnises of the world, the Alicia Glasses of the world. She has that ability to be that next level athlete. I ran a camp at Skyline when Harper was in 7th grade, and she was in the gym and she could have played right then and there for the Skyline team. She's always had fun in the gym. When I was in there, little 7th grader running around and just wanting to play and showing a love for the game. And I think she's going to have that ability to make a big impact at the next level. And I think all these athletes on this list are, and she's definitely one of them that is going to take Michigan and just build a bigger volleyball name.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it will be exciting as the season goes on to see these teams get better along with their leaders, their impact players who are on this list for now. And just a reminder, there's no order to this list, it's just an alphabetical order. So any team, any division, it's all up for grabs, so it's going to be exciting as the season continues to go on.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Well, we had a lot of fun with episode 2 of Above the Net presented by Raymond James, and we hope you guys tune in next week for episode 3. State Champs Above the Net is presented by Raymond James, tailored financial advice that helps you live your life. State Champs Above the Net is also powered by Lawrence Technological University. Visit ltuathletics.com and recruit yourself. Michigan Elite Volleyball, work hard, play hard. Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud sponsor of the MHSAA. And the Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Pros. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers.